कुछ अपलोड कर दिया था कल का दिया था।
देखा मैंने। कैमरा सेट कर लिया? व्हाट हैपेंड? कुछ चल रहा है क्या प्रोग्राम कहीं?
इंडिया सेमीफाइनल चल रहा है ना।
तो मैच चल रहा है, तो मैच की वजह से क्लास में नहीं आए?
कुछ हारेंगे इंडिया इसकी वजह से।
तो दुख मनाने के बाद आएंगे क्लास में या हराने के बाद आएंगे? ओके फाइन, हम लोग स्टार्ट करते हैं फिर। आने दीजिए, जो आता जाएंगे जिसको। स्टार्ट करें। Dear students, welcome to the course Introduction to the Metaphysics of Sanskrit Language. This is lecture 17. So, in the previous lecture, few points which were still left, and they are very of utmost importance, because in our course I gave you a completely different dimension about the understanding about chakras and our regular physiology, how we process different stimuli, that is the cognitive procedure for processing different stimuli. Because in modern sciences right now what we are understanding, that is completely different, and the Indian corpus is having a completely different aspect for processing the stimuli, that is a kind of metaphysical entity. Though in sciences also right now we are not in a state to exactly locate the physical aspects, where we can locate where is the mind, where is the process, what specific area, physical area is involved in processing different stimuli in different parts of our brain or in reflexes through our spinal cord. Is still in the sciences also we locate ideatedly, that means a kind of assumption or inference or a kind of evidence which we get from the secretions of the nerve endings, we associate it as per our limitation of understanding today to identify the locus who actually processes the stimuli on the basis of the neurotransmitters or release of the neurotransmitters or different hormonal secretions. So, in turn they are also metaphysical. We cannot say that that is the particular locus, or in another words we cannot actually dissect that particular physical portion and keep it aside or away from the conscious entity on the table to show the demonstration. That can be functional, or that is functional till it is a part of a conscious being. We can show the mechanism when a person is diagnosed or it's linked with electrodes through a kind of machine which is monitoring that kind of process, but we cannot dissect it from that conscious entity to keep it on the table to show what is happening and which part is exactly identifying what kind of function or physiology, right. So, in turn in the sciences also we are identifying those properties, those mechanisms metaphysically, that is beyond the physical aspects. So, what Indian corpus is already laid down, the metaphysical structures, because we have started the investigation from the subtlest aspect reaching to the grossest one. So, automatically we have much deeper understanding about the metaphysical things. So, if somebody asks you that what is a locus of buddhi, kahan hai buddhi aapki? So, your buddhi is not here. So, which chakra is actually having that particular locus of buddhi? For that understanding you have to keep it, or you have to remember this slide. Buddhi is present in the Swadhisthana chakra. So, the locus of buddhi is a Swadhisthana chakra. In the same way, if somebody asks you where is manas, आपका मन कहाँ है, तो हमारा मन दूसरे हॉल में, हमारा मन उस मित्र के पास है, ऐसा नहीं बताना है. Your manas is located in Manipur chakra. Very easy to remember because ma and ma. Manas is present in Manipur and buddhi is present in Swadhisthana. In normal physiological functions, so we have only three chakras directly involved, that is Manipur, Anahat and Swadhisthana. So, in turn our buddhi is located, or you can say you can identifying the locus or metaphysical locus of buddhi in Swadhisthana chakra and metaphysical locus of manas in Manipur. This is involved in three basic functions, and first is manasik samvad, that is intuitive communication, I have explained it. Then second is manasik sankalpana, selection among the possible options available, that is manasik sankalpana, and last is manasik shastra vidya. So, these three concepts are still left. Before moving or proceeding to the unit 5, we need to complete this aspect also. Discussion on this topic is left. So, I am taking it right now. As I have explained this part like Manasik Samvad, intuitive communication or mental communication. You can mentally communicate with anyone because Manas is a Ubhaya Indri, first one. The first reason why we are able to do it, because Manas is Ubhaya Indri, bimodal in nature. Manas can receive the stimuli and Manas can respond to the stimuli. So, automatically you are able to communicate through your Manas. That becomes a Manasik Samvad or mental communication. And the second is Manasik Sankalpana. I have already explained in the characteristics of Manas and Buddhi. Manas is Sankalpa Vikalpatmaka Manaha and Buddhi is Nishchayatmika Buddhi. So, the Buddhi is used for decision making and to select an option from the possible options available. That process is being done by Manas. So, Manasik Sankalpana means mental conceptualization. When you conceptualize something, just like engineering structure is a mental conceptualization of someone, and then on the basis of that we have all the organic chemistry right now, and we are synthesizing so many medicines, drugs, etc. So, mental Sankalpana, Manasik Sankalpana or mental conceptualization is the second part, which is directly coming from the function of Manas, that is Sankalpa Vikalpatmaka Manaha, because our Manas is potential enough to select among the possible options available. So, automatically it selects, जहाँ पर जाकर के उसकी परिणति हो जाएगी वहाँ रुक जाएगा. Wherever the Manas will be satisfied, that will be the final selection done by the Manas. Now, there is a very important concept between Buddhi and Manas. Why I took this discussion? It is very important because Buddhi and Manas, as you must be familiar with the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, as Gita presents highest possible level of conflict in one's life. Srimad Bhagavad Gita gives a lot of lessons about the ethics, management, etc. So many aspects it deals with them. So, the question is ultimate, or you can say highest possible level of conflict that is available, or you can say that is discussed in Srimad Bhagavad Gita when Arjun is presenting his own conflict he is facing in the mid of the war. So, what is that? The highest possible level of conflict is a conflict within. Like in Western civilizations, specifically right now whatever we are studying, in the West, the journey of civilization was started from man versus nature. This was the conflict. क्योंकि atmosphere बहुत adverse है. So, when the climatic conditions, when the nature is so rude, so adverse for the survival of a human or any living or life or living creature, there was a conflict, there was a stage, there was a phase where there was a conflict between nature and man, that means human being. So, they started dominating over the nature, they invested, or you can say investigated and discovered a lot of tools through which they can actually dominate over the nature. They passed through that phase. After some time, what happened? They understood that over exhaustion of the nature is also going to lead their destruction, because that is a cycle. Whatever they are doing with the nature, she itself sets back. That means there is a reset button in the nature. Automatically the nature will reset, and the you can say the return gift is going to come again to you. Once they understood this thing, another type of conflict was dominated in that culture, and in the same way a lot of conflicts were there, and they actually moved ahead through that journey. But in our culture, from the beginning itself, because Indian scholars or acharyas were fond of, or you can say they were habituated with the understanding with the subtlest possible aspect, and they followed the top to bottom approach. So they understood that the conflict is present within, and that is the highest possible conflict. So in the West, when we are having so many aspects of the conflict, like man versus nature, then man versus women, then again now the situation is man versus man, that means human being is conflicting with the human being itself. And then the last one, that is inside of a human being or inside of a living creature. But in our culture, in our tradition, this is, we are already having that corpus which has already dealt with the highest possible level of conflict, that is within, conflict present within. जब हम अपने आप से लड़ते हैं, संघर्ष हमारा अपने आप से होता है, वो सबसे बड़ा संघर्ष है. So whatever Arjun is asking in the mid of the war, that is the conflict within. Why? Because he is facing a situation when if he fights back, then also he is going to lose his own kith and kins, and if he doesn't do that, then also the loss is going to be his own, because the kingdom is also his own, the people are also his own part. So automatically on both the sides the loss is of one's own. So what to choose? What should be chosen? क्या होना चाहिए चुनाव? उसी विषय में वो कृष्ण से अपनी जिज्ञासा समाधान कर रहे हैं, वही प्रश्न वो पूछते हैं और उसी का वो उत्तर देते हैं. So whatever the possible level of conflict is available in one's life, that is the highest possible level of conflict is conflict within, जब हम खुद से संघर्ष कर रहे होते हैं. And that stage, in that case, what should be done? When Krishna is explaining, when Arjun is asking, my manas is very chanchal. Chanchal means very unstable, not able to select among the possible options available. क्या करें? So I am becoming किम कर्तव्य विमूढ़ः. मैं क्या करूं क्या ना करूं ये नहीं समझ पा रहा हूं. किम कर्तव्य विमूढ़ means what should be done, what should not be done. I am not able to decide. So there are two possible options available for him, but he is not able to decide what should be done. This is the conflict present inside of him, highest possible level of conflict, that too in the middle of a war. कहीं और नहीं है कि घर पे बैठ के आराम से सॉर्ट आउट कर लेंगे. एक युद्ध के बीच में खड़े होकर ये संघर्ष करना है कि अस्त्र उठाना है कि नहीं उठाना है. अस्त्र रख देते हैं, छोड़ देते हैं अस्त्र, तब कृष्ण उत्तर देते हैं सारी चीज़ों का. And in that situation, what is being told in Gita? Because manas is ubhaya indri, bimodal in nature. It can receive the stimuli, it can respond to the stimuli, and that too is, it's highly functional. I told you that it is delimited. Manas is delimited kriya shakti, delimited action power. Still, it is very much fast, because it is possessing इच्छा, ज्ञान एंड क्रिया, तीनों एक साथ उसके पास हैं, और बाई मॉडल है, रिसीव भी कर सकता है, रिस्पॉन्ड भी कर सकता है. इसीलिए उस पर नियंत्रण करना बहुत मुश्किल काम है. सो कंट्रोलिंग ओवर द मनस इज द हाईएस्ट पॉसिबल टास्क, एंड दैट इज बीइंग टोल्ड बाय कृष्णा हाउ टू कंट्रोल योर मनस to make a selection between the two possible options available. Until and unless manas selects one option among the possible options available, 1 or 2 or 3, जब तक मन किसी selection को नहीं करेगा तब तक बुद्धि निर्णय कर ही नहीं सकती. Need to remember, once your manas becomes able to select among the possible options available, then only buddhi can decide. So in turn, if you are having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 options available, your manas stucks on 3 or selects any of the 3, right? So now your buddhi can take an advantage, or you can say now take the charge. Buddhi can take the charge of making a decision among the selected ones. Okay? But what happens next phase, next step? Suppose 1, 2, 3 are the options which are being selected by Manas. Your buddhi processed these 3 options, then identified that you won't be able to purchase all the 3 shirts. For taking as an example, I will take the same example. Like you are having 5 shirts and you saw 5 shirts in a shop, your Manas selected 3. Now your buddhi processed that you don't have a sufficient money to buy or purchase 1, 2, 3 all the 3. Now what? The buddhi will send a message. From the buddhi, the message will be conveyed to the Manas immediately that I am not having sufficient amount of money to purchase all the 3. Now you select again. You select again among the 3. Now again the process of selection will be done by your Manas. इन 3 में भी अच्छी कौन सी लग रही है, वो आपका मन निश्चित करेगा कि मुझे अच्छी कौन सी लग रही है. Now you will try, you will identify color, suitability, fitting, etc. So many attributes. Then suppose you identified 1 and 2, your Manas selected again only 1 and 2, these 2 pieces. Now again if your buddhi will find that the money is not sufficient, again the message will be conveyed to the Manas. Again make a selection. So what happens, your Manas will again start processing it. Now suppose there is a situation, आपका मन इतना ज़्यादा आ गया है, नहीं दोनों चाहिए, हम तो लेके रहेंगे, छोड़ नहीं सकते हैं. I like both of them and I can't leave them, I have to purchase them. So your Manas will send a signal to your buddhi, no, I have to purchase, I have made my mind, that means I have made the selection. I have made the selection. Now this is your responsibility how to purchase it. So अब आपकी बुद्धि प्रोसेस करना शुरू करेगी how to purchase it. You will call your friend. You send some money from Google Pay, I will pay you tomorrow. You will try to find out the ways how to make your Manas satisfied. जब तक आपका मन संतुष्ट नहीं हो जाएगा, आपकी बुद्धि कोई और चीज़ें में आगे बढ़ेगी ही नहीं. That's why the satisfaction of the Manas is very important, and for the sake of that purpose only Krishna is elaborating everything. Or almost whole of the cosmos has been explained by Sri Krishna to the Arjun just to satisfy his Manas, to make a decision what should be done. क्या करना है ये समझाने के लिए उन्होंने पूरा ब्रह्मांड बता दिया, अपना स्वरूप भी दिखा दिया. So what is necessary? The satisfaction of your Manas. That's why always it is told that you need to follow your intuition, your natural inclination. What is your intuition? That is your natural inclination. Maybe you are in a force, maybe you are in a pressure pursuing this degree, this courses, this and that. You do a lot of the things in your life, but at some point of time you will really feel that my natural inclination is in that thing only, and if I will go in that field or I will perform that task, I would be much more satisfied and happy. So automatically you will follow the same path. कोई फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता कि आपकी एज क्या है उस वक्त, कोई फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता कि आप कहाँ हैं, किसके साथ हैं, किस स्टैंडर्ड पे हैं, doesn't matter. All rest of all the things will be nullified. This happens with everybody. The one who is richest, the one who is poorest, the one who is at any of the age, these attributes doesn't matter. That's why identifying your natural inclination is the first important step. If you did that rightly, you won't regret any time in your life. And then the next moment, next step automatically comes as making a decision in that way. So whenever you are in a stage of selling, suppose you are in a position, you want to go somewhere else, but you are not in a condition to leave everything apart or aside and to go to that particular place, your buddhi and manas will remain in a state of disagreement and conflict till you become able to sort it out. So basically, manas and buddhi must be in agreement, must be satisfied with the decisions and the selections. There should be you can say there should be a state of superposition or sameness among manas and buddhi, or in between manas and buddhi, that whatever selection manas has made, that is accepted by buddhi. In the same way, whatever decision is made by buddhi, that is accepted by manas. If both are in agreement, automatically the response gets generated. In each and every possible function of your life, in your day to day life. So, if you are getting awake at 6 o'clock in the morning, then also from that time till you go to sleep, even in the sleep also, even in the dreaming also, even in the deep sleep also, the same process is continuously happening. These two entities are always functional because they are metaphysical. When you go to the sleep, the first stage of transition is dreaming. In dreams, what happens? Your gross body is lying down. So basically, there is nothing visibly functional as a part of your gross structures. हाथ पैर तो सब पड़ा है ना बिस्तर पे, कुछ नहीं function कर रहा. Still you are dreaming. What is that who is functional? In that state, your manas is functional. Your manas is bimodal in nature. It can receive the stimuli, respond to the stimuli. So automatically manas is receiving the stimuli and responding to the stimuli. Whatever was left as unfulfilled desires or whatever has to be done in the next day or in the next morning, a lot of the things which are still in your mind, in your vacant state, they will start floating in the state of dreaming, and your manas will be doing the selection among those possible options available which are floating in the consciousness, in your own consciousness in the stage of dreaming. So this happens in the dream state. Once you trespass the dream, or you can say once you get a transition from dream to deep sleep, in the deep sleep, normal sakal pramatas like we do not have knowledge about ourselves, what we are, who we are, where are we, कुछ पता नहीं है. A complete stage of ignorance is there in the deep sleep. But once we come back from the deep sleep to the awakened state, we recollect everything like I was in a deep sleep, that means a perfect deep sleep. बहुत अच्छी तरह सोया. Well, I had a very good sleep. So that means you get recharged. You got recharged. Why? Because after a deep sleep, there is the subtlest possible aspect, which is the fourth one, turiya, and from that stage you are accessing the energy. Just like you plug your mobile charger in the socket, you charge your mobiles from that source of electricity. So source of energy is there. That's why your mobiles are getting charged. So source of energy is there. That's why once we enter into the stages of transition like deep, dreaming and then deep sleep, then after deep sleep there is a source of energy from which we access that energy to recharge ourselves. So in the same way, the things which we are implementing outside, the same thing is happening with us also. We are also getting recharged from the source of energy which is ultimate in existence, in nature, that is the fourth one, and from that source of energy we get refreshed. But what if we are not having or not able to have a good deep sleep? Then after getting awake, you will feel like I did not get a good sleep. I am still feeling tired. Why? Because in the stage of dream, you were continuously disseminating the energy, dissipating the energy. That means you lose the energy because in the distractions. Why? Because your manas एक क्रम से in a sequence. In a sequence, your memory cannot record those flashes. That transition is so fast. Why? Because of the fast mobility of manas. Manas immediately selects, responds, selects, responds, selects, responds. So there is a chaos. Memory is not able to record in a sequence कि अभी क्या देखा था, फिर क्या देखा, and when you come back to the vacant state, sometimes you don't become able to describe what you have seen in the dreams. क्या देखा था पता नहीं, कुछ कुछ था, फ्लैश याद आ रहे हैं, some flashes of the scenes you try to recollect and you explain them. That's why dreams are symbolic in nature. Sometimes nobody can explain what they actually experienced when they were dreaming. And that's why dreams are the basic, you can say, richest source of symbolism. And in our shastras, a lot of things are described with reference of the dreams also. स्वप्न को बताने के लिए कि यदि स्वप्न में आपने ये संकेत देखा तो इसका ये अर्थ था. A lot of the shastras are there to describe the symbolisms, and they are not, you can say, they are not compulsorily attaching the reality, because I told you the complete reality is like superposition of signifier and signified. So हम signifier और signified को superpose कर देते हैं. So if there is a symbol in the dream like snake, you saw a snake in your dream, that is a symbol, and you tried an interpretation, you superpose that interpretation to that symbol. So this is a kind of one kind of interpretation or one kind of reality. In another time zone or in another time or and space, the same symbol can be associated to interpret another kind of reality. So it depends upon the so many variations of the cultures, impressions, time and space variations, how a same symbol can be associated to different things. This is something which is related with the Manasik Sankalpana. After this, Manasik Shastra Vidya, this was taken by me in the first class itself, right? Manasik Shastra Vidya is very important because in our Shastras, specifically in Mahabharata and Ramayana both, you will find a lot of narrations where Shastra Vidya is being used by all the warriors. And in our tradition, Shastra Vidya is physically dominated, like not like today's one, you click the button and there will be a bomb blast. So physically you are not involved in that process, number one. Number two, your mental exercise is not dealt, that means human resource is not being trained. Machines are being created to destroy something. So basically we are fighting a virtual war. Just like we have been, I explained you that we can identify virtual reality. In the same way, that is a virtual war which is in turn going to destroy the actual reality. So in our tradition, the yodhas or the warriors were trained physically, number one. When the physical training starts, it trespasses the Annamaya Kosh. That means from Annamaya Kosh, we have to move on to the Pranamaya Kosh, breath. Then from the Pranamaya Kosh, we have to move to Manomaya Kosh, Manas. After Manomaya Kosh, we have to move to the Vijnanamaya Kosh, that is Buddhi. And after Buddhi only there is the stage of Anandamaya Kosh, that is ultimate state of bliss or happiness or unending happiness. So all the 5 levels are needed to be trained in order to become a warrior. In that stage or in that case, what was the training? The training was given in such a way that consciousness should be in an unobstructed flow from the Anandamaya Kosh to the Annamaya Kosh. If there is any obstruction in between the two koshas, then you won't be able to learn or master that sciences to be a warrior, physically also, mentally also. And for that purpose only, when you are able to link your pind with the Brahmand, you are able to access the cosmic energy, automatically there is unobstructed flow of the energy from top to bottom. So in that case, you are becoming a complete transparent, clean transparent mirror, just like the clean transparent mirror is there. So in clean transparent mirror, everything gets reflected as it is, without any modifications or deformations. Okay, so you make your chiti, your consciousness, as a clean transparent mirror, such a clean transparent mirror that you can sense from which direction the attack is going to come. So if you are a trained warrior in Indian corpus or through an Indian Shastra Vidya, your chiti is so transparent and it is in an unobstructed flow, or you can say it is in the link with the cosmic energy, you will be able to perform just like a transparent mirror which is able to sense, a mirror which is conscious. So it will be able to sense the direction of the attack, intensity of the attack. So you do not need eyes on your back. Immediately your reflexes will work. If the attack is coming from the back, you will identify it, you will guess it. So this is what is being trained, which is being given as a training when we train the yodhas in the, specifically in our shastras or specifically in the vidyas which we have been practicing. So in that sense itself, when I explained you the narration of that incidents, when Arjun is coming back to Hastinapur and bringing all the people from the Dwarikapuri to the Indraprastha, because Dwarikapuri is going to be submerged in the sea just after a departure of Krishna, he fails to recollect the knowledge, he fails to recollect that Shastra Vidya, because his consciousness is dominated by so many negative bhavas, or you can say the stage of deepest possible pain, which was felt just because of the separation from the Krishna. So he fails to recollect that mantra through which his Gandiva was working in the war of Mahabharat, but right now he is not able to use that weapon. So he is forgetting the Vidya, because Vidya can be remembered or recollected once you link yourself with the cosmic energy. You can resonate with the cosmic energy, and that can only happen when your chitti is clean and transparent. Your chitti is now flooded with the emotions which are the emotions of deepest possible pain coming due to the separation from the Krishna. So he fails to recollect that knowledge and to use that Gandiv in order to protect the women and the riches in the mid of the path from Dwarikapuri to the Indraprastha. So this incident is a narration from Mahabharata. In the same way, in Mahabharata and Ramayana, we have a lot of other narrations where the people are using different weapons, different types of astras. I told you in the first class, in the classes which we had in LA, like if we are using any pointed substance, or you can say any pointed instrument made up of anything, it may be made up of a wood or any metal, ज़रूरत नहीं है कि बहुत sophisticated चीज़ ही हो, anything which is having a very pointed end, but it is being thrown with a complete force, and a force which is present inside of me, and I am able to access the energy of the cosmos, then you can imagine how much energy it will be carrying while hitting the target. So till this is not used by me, or till this does not have the energy which is being given by me to this particular object, that is astra. So it is astra is a kind of weapon, simple weapon, but the moment I provide my own energy, whatever level of energy I have depends on my potential, to up to which extent I can access the energy from the cosmos, or up to which extent my consciousness is purified, the astra will become shastra. So this is the difference between the astra, shastra and then shastra. So in turn, in our tradition, we were trained in astra, shastra and shastra. Astra is that kind of knowledge which creates normal weapons. Shastra is that kind of knowledge which actually trains you how to implement that astra with a potential. And Shastra is that kind of knowledge which actually teaches you both of them, how to create the Astra also and how to use the Shastra also. So, in turn Astra, Shastra and Shastra all are the part of our culture, and we were trained, our generations were trained in that particular knowledge. So, what is meant here, this Shastra Vidya is also Manasik. Till Arjun remembers everything, he was able to perform. The moment his manas was overwhelmed with the bhavas of separation or deep pain, manas was not able to function, or he was not able to concentrate on a single point to access that energy so that he can recollect the knowledge to use that astra. So, automatically Shastra Vidya is a Manasik. So, whatever Shastras are named in Mahabharata, specifically in Mahabharata, that because that is the narration of war, तो अपने आप ही युद्ध में तो अस्त्र प्रयोग होंगे ही. A lot of weapons are named in the text of Mahabharata, all are having this Manasik Shastra Vidya. That means that knowledge which was available to them by Manas. And that is why you can find the narration like before entering into the war, that person performed tapasya and pleased Shiva to get that kind of weapon. What is that? That is metaphorical mode of writing the Shastra, metaphorical way, style of writing the Shastra. But in turn what he is doing, he is practicing one pointedness to magnify his own energy, to access the cosmic energy. शिव को प्रसन्न करके क्या मिलेगा? शिव थोड़ी ना खुद आएंगे लड़ने, शिव कोई और है क्या आपसे अलग? नहीं, आप ही हैं. Once you make yourself seated at that level, automatically you are able to access all the energy, you are the possessor of all the energy, automatically that astra will perform with that potential. So, that is Manasik Shastra Vidya. And this kind of narrations wherever like Brahmastra, Brahmastra का मतलब क्या होता है? You split the word Brahm then Astra. Brahman means consciousness. I told you that in our culture, in Upanishads, in Vedanta, in Vedas, Brahman word is used for consciousness, pure consciousness. So, the Astra which is accessing the level of energy which is belonging to the para stage, or you can say the pure consciousness, that is Brahmastra. So, these are the names of so many astras which are available in our own corpus, and they are all are denoting this Manasik Shastra Vidya, and in that way our Shastra Vidya is also Manasik. It is available to us because of the potential of our Manas. Once your Manas is able to select something, automatically you will be successful in that. According to the Manas, your Buddhi can decide. So, that is why Manasik selection is very important. Manasik abhyas is very important, and that is something which is being told by all the teachers, traditional teachers, Guru, who trained us through our Indian knowledge system to remember the things, to recollect the things again and again. कुछ लोग संस्कृत को लेकर ऐसा बहुत मजाक उड़ाते हैं कि उन्हें लगता है कि याद बहुत करना पड़ता है. वो याद करना नहीं पड़ता, वो याद कराया जाता है. Why? Because they know that knowledge is inside of us. If you forget yourself, you are going to forget everything. So, Manasik Shastra Vidya is that practice through which you are recollecting the knowledge. So, immediately our gurus train from the childhood how to remember and recollect the knowledge again and again. So, सुबह से लेकर शाम तक recitation की practice कराई जाती है. उतनी recitation की practice इसलिए नहीं कराई जाती कि सब याद करवा दिया जाए तो सब हो जाए. याद इसलिए कराना ज़रूरी है because you are going to forget who are you. आप और कुछ नहीं याद करने जा रहे, आप यही पता करना है कि मैं कौन हूँ. अगर आप ये याद रख सके तो आपको सब याद रह जाएगा. Automatically, for all the births, for all the possible lives, for all the life durations, you are easily going to get through because you are actually able to remember all the things which you have already learned. And in that case itself, because you are up to the age of 22, 23, 24 maximum, so you feel a lot of times that I am getting through few of the difficult problems automatically. ज़्यादा मेहनत नहीं करनी पड़ती, अपने आप निकाल लेता हूँ कुछ चीज़ों में. In some point or in some cases you feel like it's very difficult. I am completely failed in that thing. I try a lot but I cannot, I feel like I won't be able to complete or identify or sort out this kind of problem. आप उससे भागने लगते हैं. कुछ चीज़ों में आपका नेचुरल इंक्लिनेशन अपने आप आ जाता है. क्यों? बिकॉज यू आर एबल टू प्रोसेस दैट रिमेम्बरेंस from the past life or birth or whatever you are having as a sophistication, or you can say sophisticated training through your generations in your home itself. आपके घर में जिन चीज़ों की प्रैक्टिस बहुत समय से करी गई है या आपके ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स जिनको करते आए हैं, उन चीज़ों में आपकी ऑटोमेटिक मास्टरी होती जाती है. ये बहुत नेचुरल है एंड इट हैपेंस बिकॉज ऑफ इट वी फील लाइक वी आर गुड एट सम थिंग्स ऑटोमेटिकली. सेल्फ मेड कहाँ से आएंगे? वी आर सेल्फ मेड बिकॉज ऑफ अवर ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स. we are always the part of that particular existence. We are the extension of that existence, and that's why in Indian culture, specifically in South India, you don't need to make a mock, or you can don't try to make a joke over the names which are integrated names of the grandparents, then your own name. It's a method to make you remember your own lineage. उस पर हंसने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. अगर किसी का नाम बहुत लंबा है तो वो मजाक का विषय नहीं है. वो एक तरीका था ये याद रखाने का कि आपकी जनरेशन में 4 पीढ़ी पहले कौन कौन आए थे. यू go to your home, you check. You don't remember the names just 4 generations back. आपको नाम भी याद नहीं होंगे कि कौन किसका क्या नाम था. So for making the remembrance in our culture, we made this kind of traditions, we made this kind of practices so that we can actually know who we are. So in our culture, the things which are being practiced, they are not nonsense, they are not having any logic. It's a kind of misconception. It's our foolishness that we don't know the logic behind and we have never investigated the logic behind. Okay, so for this lecture this is sufficient. This was the left out part from the past previous lecture. In the next class we will begin unit 5 and then we will end the course. Thank you. पूजा, किसका होमवर्क कर रही हो? किस कोर्स का? अब इसी कोर्स में कुछ लिख रही हो कि शुरुआत से तुम किसी और क्लास का कुछ होमवर्क कंप्लीट कर रही हो? सच सच बोल दो मुझे, मैम कुछ नहीं करेंगी, सूली पे नहीं चढ़ाने वाली. किस कोर्स का कर रही हो? मैं ये जानना चाहती हूँ कि इतना प्रेशर कौन से टीचर ने दिया है कि आपको किसी और की क्लास में किसी और का होमवर्क करना पड़ रहा है या कुछ और करना पड़ रहा है? कुछ है ऐसा? इफ़ दैट इज़ माई मिसकॉन्सेप्शन, दैट्स ओके.